What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your second stimulus check update and related news update. We have some breaking news and a lot of information going on right now regarding Washington and the second stimulus check and second stimulus package. We're going to jump right into it. Just don't forget to give this video a like down below. It really helps out our channel. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new videos. Also, I have some good news regarding stimulus, so make sure to watch all the way to the end so you don't miss out. Okay, first up, the new breaking information is Joe Biden has defeated President Donald Trump in the Electoral College for the presidency. Well, at least for now. I'll get to that here in a second. But he has now enough votes to actually be considered the president. As we have been reporting this over the last few days, President Donald Trump has been losing ground as all these mysterious mail-in votes are being counted after the election, has given the edge to Joe Biden enough to take the lead almost permanently. As you can see here, most major outlets that report the electoral votes are reporting now Joe Biden over 270, which is 270 what is needed to win. Fox News is actually reporting 290, CNN 273, and Google also 290. This is actually the best map to look at right here. And as I had been reporting that Joe Biden had been sneaking away in Pennsylvania, President Donald Trump was well ahead in Pennsylvania. He needed to win all these states. He needed to win Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, and Nevada. He needed to win all of these states, and it looked like he could have won these three eastern states, but those pesky mail-in votes kept being counted after the election, and President Donald Trump actually went from winning all three to now losing two out of the three. He was behind the whole time in Nevada, but he just couldn't make up enough ground. He would have had to need to win all four of these. He's actually losing Pennsylvania now by about 35,000 votes, and he's also losing Georgia in addition by about 7,000 votes. So he is ahead in North Carolina and Alaska, but alas, that is 290 votes for Joe Biden to 214 for Trump. Trump will get a few more. He'll get 15 more here and 3 more here at least. So that's 18 more. So that'll put him at like 232 to maybe 290. But Biden's winning North Carolina here too. So again, all you need is 270 to win. So it does look like Joe Biden will be declared the winner of the presidential 2020 race. However, that is at least temporarily because President Donald Trump has refused to accept Joe Biden as the victor and promises to challenge pretty much everything he can in court with lawsuits and possibly all the way up to the Supreme Court. Now, regarding stimulus checks and the next stimulus package, I have several different pieces of really good news for you guys. Number one is with Joe Biden now probably going to be the president, obviously we think Trump's going to, challenge all these things with lawsuits, and we'll have to see what happens. But it does look like Joe Biden will be the president. And the thing about it is that the Democrats want to spend more money than Republicans. Nancy Pelosi wants to pass 2 stimulus checks, one now and one before Joe Biden comes into office in January of 2021. And Joe Biden is already starting to talk about passing stimulus and that the economy needs more stimulus and that Americans need more stimulus now. So honestly, this is probably good news because we really need more stimulus. I mean, that's why the majority of you guys watch this channel, is because we need more stimulus. And we know that Nancy Pelosi has been delaying the stimulus package for months because of the election. Joe Biden says, quote, "Yesterday, Senator Harris and I held meetings with groups of experts on public health and the economic crisis this country is facing. More than 20 million people are on unemployment. Millions are worried about making rent and putting food on the table. Our economic plan will put a focus on the path to a strong recovery." Now, we know that Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi want to spend more money than what the Republicans want. And I mean, this is good news, at least in the stimulus world, because Nancy Pelosi wants to get a check out now before the end of the year. And this is also good news because Mitch McConnell, surprisingly, the leader of the Senate Republicans, actually wants to get a stimulus package done now also, which was pretty shocking to me when we first learned about that because Mitch has been kind of known as a Grinch of the stimulus check world. And for him to come out with positive news saying that it's their number one priority to work on more stimulus after the election, and they're going to be doing that within the next 48 hours. Honestly, everybody is saying that it's really good news. Mitch McConnell wants more stimulus. Nancy Pelosi wants 2 stimulus checks before the election. And we know that Joe Biden and the Democrats want to spend more money than the Republicans. Nancy Pelosi wants to spend a record $3 trillion stimulus bill, which would provide stimulus checks. It would provide an unemployment extension update of $600 per week for people that have lost their jobs, of $600 bonus money per week on top of your state unemployment. There's money for mortgage and rental assistance in there that will likely give you additional thousands of dollars to help you pay your mortgage or your rent. There's student loan forgiveness in there. There's a couple different student loan forgivenesses in there. One, in the CARES Act 2.0, there was a provision in there that you could have up to $10,000 of student loans basically just forgiven. Again, this is Nancy Pelosi's bill and the Democratic bill, and now that there's going to be a Democratic president, this makes all this much more likely to happen. Also, Democrats Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer actually have proposed a bill within the last month or so that can actually forgive up to $50,000 of student loans. And this doesn't actually need to even be passed by Congress. This can be passed through a presidential executive order. So Joe Biden or even President Donald Trump, if he wanted to do this before he leaves office, again, if that holds up in court, Joe Biden could actually do this with a presidential executive order as soon as he comes into office. Now, the U.S. House of Representatives is going to be retained and controlled by the Democrats. We don't know if Nancy Pelosi is going to be the speaker again, as she's bidding to be the speaker again, but a lot of Democrats and Republicans are speaking out against her, saying that they need somebody new who's actually going to make progress. But now that the election's over and, quote, I don't want President Donald Trump to get a stimulus check out with his name on it before the election, now that that's not really a concern anymore, that the election's over, we might see a different Nancy Pelosi who actually wants to make a deal. We know that Democrats want to spend more money. I mean, Nancy Pelosi had that $3.4 trillion HEROES Act, and then she reduced it down to 2.2 or 2.4 trillion. The Republicans have typically wanted to spend less. They started off at only $500 billion, then they went up to $1 trillion, and then the White House, as they desperately tried to make a deal with Nancy Pelosi, finally went up to 1.9 trillion. But Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats always wanted to spend more. So now we're going to have a Democratic president. We're going to have a Democratic House of Representatives. And that leaves us left with the Senate. And as you can see here with the Senate, it's currently 48 Republicans to 48 Democrats, with 4 seats still left to be decided. And what's interesting is the 2 different seats out of Georgia are both going to go to what's called a runoff election, which will be on January 5th, because neither of the several different candidates there, because there's 2 different seats there up for re-election, none of them got enough votes. Georgia law has a law that says you need 50% of the votes at least to be declared the winner outright. So even if you're winning, but you have 49.9%, you actually don't have enough votes in Georgia law. So as you can see here, David Perdue, who's a Republican, has 49.8%, just less than what he needs. And John Ossoff, who's from the Democratic Party, has about 48%. So this is actually going to go to a runoff on January 5th, where they're going to basically re-vote on this, and it can go either way. The other seat is being controlled by a Democrat, but only with 33%, because there's 2 different Republicans running here. One has about 26%, and the other one has 20%. So right now, anything can happen with this Senate race being 48 to 48. If the Democrats somehow pull this off and get 50 of the 50 votes, I'm sorry, 50 seats for the Republicans, the Democrats don't necessarily need a majority here because if they get 50 seats and it's 50 to 50, the deciding vote, the tiebreaker, goes to the vice president, which will be Joe Biden's vice president, Kamala Harris. So if you've heard anything about the blue wave, that is basically the Democrats. This is what Nancy Pelosi thought would happen, and it still could happen. There's still a chance. Joe Biden's been declared the winner. We know it's going to be challenged. The Democrats have controlled the House. That's pretty much for certain. And it's almost a 50-50 toss-up in the Senate. If the Democrats can win 50 seats, then it'll be a 50-50 tie. And on any 50-50 tie, the vice president will be the tiebreaker, who is Democrat Kamala Harris, of course, if all this goes to plan. So the Democrats could actually achieve this blue wave where it'll be a blue House, a blue Senate, and a blue presidency, blue obviously for Democrat. And if that happens, they'll have pretty much free reign to pass almost anything they want. Any bill they want, they can pass it pretty much without ease. There is the filibuster rule in the Senate that will stifle some things. Some things you can pass with only 51 votes in the Senate due to the reconciliation rule. I'm not going to get too deep into this. This is very complicated. But some bills in the Senate you need 60 votes. Some bills in the Senate you only need 51 votes. Anything that needs 51 votes, if the Democrats can get their 50 votes in the Senate with the tiebreaker, they will actually be able to pass it without any Republican support at all. But the Republicans will be able to contest some things with the filibuster rule where you need 60 votes. So the Republicans will still have some control. It is likely that the Republicans will win the Senate at this point, but it's close to a 50-50 chance. I mean, maybe the Republicans are leading by a little bit right now, 60 to 40, but it's really going to depend on these runoff races in Georgia for the Senate, because if we see a large Democratic turnout and a large Democratic push, then honestly the Democrats could push enough to get those 50 votes and create a tie in the Senate. Now, I know probably about 50% of you guys are Republicans and about 50% of you guys are Democrats. I don't try to see things in black and white like that. I try to just report to you guys what's happening, what could happen, and what the likely scenarios are. Honestly, I think we're going to get stimulus either way. Joe Biden wants stimulus. Mitch McConnell, Republican from the Senate, wants a stimulus. He said it's their number one priority to get it done as soon as they get back, which is in the next 48 hours. I do think that more stimulus would probably be passed if the Democrats can control the Senate, because then they'd have free reign to pass pretty much anything they want. This would be bad news for a lot of Republicans because, well, they're the Democratic Party, and when one party has total control over the other party, it's generally not good news for the other party, which in this case would be the Republicans. If the Republicans can get at least 51 votes in the Senate, well, then the Democrats will have to compromise a lot more, and we'll just have to see how that goes. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe if you haven't yet. This way you won't miss out on new videos. I will keep you guys updated regarding the second stimulus check, unemployment, and related news as soon as new information comes out. Also, we're taking my son Julian, who's 2 years old, to get baptized after the filming of this video. So maybe I can convince my wife to come on camera for the next video and give you guys an update, maybe show some pictures or something like that. It's just going to be a quick ceremony. But with the virus and everything, we just really haven't had time to do it. And, churches were closed and, you couldn't even go to them and all sorts of things. So finally, we're getting it done. So I figured I'd share that with you guys because it's a proud moment for our family. Thanks for watching, guys. You can click on this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check videos next. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA. I have dozens of students that have replaced their entire 9-to-5 income selling products on Amazon, and I teach them how to do that. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.